This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news, intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversation. 96.9 FM. The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Good morning. Police report a triple shooting on Abaco. No fatalities, though. Police also investigating alleged brutality, and Health Week continues. We are talking about breast cancer with a breast cancer survivor. It's all straight ahead this morning. I'm Dwight Strachan, and this is Morning Blend.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's here. It's the start of the end of the old way. Revolution. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning again, Bahamas. It is Thursday, January 26th, 2023. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Again, I'm Dwight Strachan. In a moment, Laverne Gardner will be joining us. Also this morning in Morning Blend Business, we're talking with the Bahamas Insurance Association. They're saying premiums could be going up as a result of events over the past few years. We'll talk to them about that. How high are they likely to go? What you need to know. It's all straight ahead. But first, it's time for the Overnight, the latest breaking news from while we're sleeping, and the top national and international headlines this morning. In the overnight, 3 men were at a local bar in Marsh Harbor when they were shot. It happened yesterday afternoon. Police saying that the men were taken to the clinic and were treated for their injuries. He was police unable to say what condition the men were in, but police are searching for the shooter and appealing to anyone with information to contact them on this triple shooting in Abaco. A video purportedly showing 2 police officers assaulting a suspect is being reviewed by the Complaints and Corruption Branch of the Royal Bahamas Police Force. Chief Superintendent Chrislyn Skippings confirming this yesterday now. In the video, which was shared on social media, one officer is seen slamming a seemingly subdued suspect down on his face before another officer kicked him in the head. Several other officers were also on the scene. It's unclear from the video whether they witnessed the incident. Now, Skipping says that the suspect was being sought in reference to a car theft investigation. Police say a Honda CR-V was stolen from a house on Moss Road. According to police reports, around 10:25 p.m. on Tuesday, police were notified that the vehicle was stolen and an APB was put out for it. While on routine patrol, they spotted the vehicle, which was occupied by two men. This was near Wilson Track off Wolf Road, and attempted to stop the driver. However, he sped off at a high rate of speed, resulting in a police chase. Police were able to arrest this 40-year-old man of Two Shop Corner. According to police, he's known to them for murder, armed robbery, stealing, drug possession, and possession of a firearm. A second man was able to make good his escape, and police say they continue to investigate, but the conduct exhibited by the officers, again, being reviewed by the Complaints and Corruption Branch. Days after the U.S. Coast Guard intercepted a Haitian sloop carrying nearly 400 people near Anguilla Key, the Defense Force says another vessel with at least 100 people on it ran aground in South Andros. This was on Tuesday night. In a statement, the Defense Force said 38 migrants have been captured so far. And concerns remain about the clearing of the pine forest off Michael Road in New Providence. That's according to Acting Director of the Forestry Unit with the Ministry of Environment and Natural Resources, Danielle Hannock. She says despite efforts made by a multi-agency task force addressing illegality in that area, there is a bottleneck, her word, that has slowed real solutions. As for an update on the matter raised by the authorities more than 6 months ago, after initial uproar on social media, Hannock says that it's still an issue, and they're making an effort to resolve it. But she says it's not just the forestry unit in this as well. It's the Department of Environmental Planning and Protection and Building Control and Physical Planning. She said her agency has submitted recommendations to the government on how to address the problem, and they are working to get that resolved. And a 19-year-old man charged with a murder that took place last July. Marcian Knowles is accused of the July 4th, 2022 shooting death of Romando Heiler at Quarry Mission Road. He was not required to enter a plea to the charge when he appeared before Senior Magistrate Carol Evans. Bail was denied and he was remanded to custody until April for service of a voluntary bill of indictment. Knowles was charged with the same crime last August. However, Senior Magistrate Darren Roll Davis discharged the matter after prosecutors repeatedly failed to serve the voluntary bill of indictment. Since Knowles wasn't acquitted of the murder charge, police rearrested him and charged him again. Overseas, Russian forces firing another rash of missiles and self-exploding drones across several parts of Ukraine early today, causing the first attack-related death of the year in Kyiv, even as air defenses shot down many of the incoming projectiles. The attacks adhere to Russia's recent pattern of launching widespread strikes about every 2 weeks, but the wave of weapons came a day after Germany and the United States upped the ante in Russia's 11-month war by promising to send high-tech battle tanks to Ukraine and greenlighting other allies to do the same. The mayor of Kyiv said a strike killed one person, the city's first such death since New Year's Eve. 2 others were injured. The head of the Kyiv City Administration says Ukrainian air defenses shot down 15 cruise missiles heading to the area that were also shot down. Russia has carried out massive strikes on Ukrainian power plants and other infrastructure since early October. The commander of Ukraine's armed forces saying today's volley involved 55 missiles, of which 47 were intercepted. And Israeli forces killed at least 9 Palestinians, including a 60-year-old woman, and wounded several others during a raid in a flashpoint area of the occupied West Bank today. Palestinian officials say it's the deadliest day in years in the territory. The violence occurred during what Palestinian health officials describe as a fierce daytime operation in the Jenin refugee camp, a militant stronghold of the West Bank that has been a focus of nearly a year of Israeli arrest raids. The conflict spiked this month, with 29 Palestinians killed since the start of the year. It's not immediately clear how many of those killed Thursday were affiliated with armed groups. The fighting comes weeks into Israel's new government, its most right-wing ever, which is pledged to take a hard line against the Palestinians and ramp up settlement construction on lands the Palestinians seek for their hoped-for state. In sports from the NBA, no offense to the Utah Jazz, but Damian Lillard said scoring 60 points against them was fairly simple. Not easy, just simple. Lillard had a season-high 60 points, hitting 9 three-pointers, and the Portland Trail Blazers beat the Jazz 134-124. That was Wednesday night. Lillard tied for the second most points in the NBA this season. Donovan Mitchell had 71 in an overtime game for Cleveland against Chicago on January 3rd, and Luka Doncic scored 60 in Dallas's overtime victory over New York on December 27th. Jeremy Grant added 19 points to help Portland win its second straight game. When Lillard came to the free throw line late in the game, the home crowd stood and chanted MVP, MVP. Lillard hoped he hit both free throws to reach 60, but missed a jumper from distance with 29.1 seconds left that would have topped his career best at 61. That's sports. And that's the overnight. Time for your first look at weather. In your weather for today, we've got high pressure across the area that's going to shift eastwards ahead of an approaching cold front that's expected to enter the northwest Bahamas later this afternoon. Boaters in the northwest Bahamas should be alert. There's a risk for water spout activity, and beachgoers should exercise caution as there's a risk for rip currents along north coast beaches in the northwest Bahamas by this afternoon after the front passes. So for today, for the northwest Bahamas, partly to mostly sunny and warm at first, with increasing cloudiness by this afternoon, with scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms, mainly near the frontal boundary this evening through tonight. Small craft caution will come into effect by this evening after the frontal passage, and small craft operators should be alert for gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers or thunderstorms. Winds west-southwest to west-northwest at 10 to 15 knots, falling light and variable at times through this afternoon, becoming northwest to north at 15 to 20 knots after the frontal passage by this evening. Seas 2 to 4 feet, but building up to 4 to 7 feet by this evening. For the central and southeast Bahamas today, mostly sunny and warm, mostly fair and mild with a chance of a few sprinkles across the central islands by tonight. Winds variable at less than 10 knots in the central islands and east to southeast at 10 to 15 knots in the southeastern Bahamas. Seas 3 feet islands, but 2 to 4 feet in the southeast Bahamas. 72 degrees, fair skies right now in Nassau. We're looking at highs getting up to around 84 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. That's your first look at weather this morning. We'll have your extended outlook coming up after traffic in just a bit. You're listening to Morning Blend. When we come back, we're discussing the day's top stories right here on your home for fresh news and smart talk all day. Guardian Radio 96.9.
Tired of banks forcing you to use technology to bank the way your convenience is important. So no matter what your banking needs, Commonwealth Bank's friendly staff are always available in branch for that personal one-on-one service. But when you choose technology, our online and mobile banking app offers you state-of-the-art functionality. The choice is yours. Commonwealth Bank. Bank the way you want.
Legacy College Readiness and Tours. Already get the first set of knowledge. Now it's time to prepare you for college. You're thinking so much you gotta do. Legacy will handle that for you.
Hi, my name is Erica Morris, the president of Legacy College Readiness and Tours, a readiness firm. I'm reminded of my senior year in high school, the trepidation and insecurity I felt the closer my school years were coming to an end. I was afraid and unsure of what steps to take next. I needed a me, someone knowledgeable about the college and career selection process. And I know finding the best college fit can be a daunting and stressful task. And I'm here to eliminate that stress by providing a guided tour into you choosing the right college for you. For more information on how Legacy College Readiness and Tours do, contact us at 242-809-5278 or email us at legacycollegetours@gmail.com.
Good morning, everyone. Hello? Hello? Oh, sorry, I was on mute. Okay, I see we have just about everyone, and of course Tom drops off, as per usual. Let's just wait a minute here. He always comes right back, and we're almost ready, and... oh, whoever's dog that is, please go on mute. Why won't it let me share my screen? Okay, looks like we're ready to start.
We're like a video conference with no technical issues. CG Atlantic, agents and brokers. Good like that.
Is your 2023 goal to move into your own home? Well, future homeowner, enjoy another payday. Build or rent from CIBC First Caribbean, and you'll receive cash back every month for 1 year. A home is one of your greatest investments, so secure one soon. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/homeowners payday for more info. Offer valid from January 9 through to March 31, 2023. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Talk all day.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's there. It's the start of the old way. Wake up. Wake up.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas Channel 969 and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at MorningBlend969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. Standard text rates apply. Once again, I am Dwight Strachan. Joining me now, Laverne Gardner. Laverne, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing well. Hope you are as well.
Yeah, I'm great.
Got another cold front moving in today, apparently, so that'll be good.
Well, yay, us.
Yeah. Well, it's better than the 90-something degrees occasionally, But hey, got a lot to talk about this morning. A lot happening in the news. We'll get to that in a bit. Coming up, though, Health Week continues. Today we're going to be talking about breast cancer and a breast cancer survivor and her unique and interesting tale. Well, maybe it's not that unique, but interesting tale. We're going to get into that this morning. And later in business, the Bahamas Insurance Association, they've warned that premiums could be going up as a result of events that have happened in the region. And we're going to find out by how much and what we need to know, all of that this morning. But let's begin, though, with what else is in the news. And in the news, triple shooting on Abaco. 3 people. 3 people one time. Abaco. Remember that those type of things were unheard of on the Family Islands, right, Laverne?
Yeah, it was very rare.
3 men who were at a local bar in Marsh Harbor yesterday afternoon were shot. ACP Theophilus Cunningham, who was in charge of Grand Bahama and the Northern Bahamas District, says the men were taken for their injuries, but he's unable to say what condition the men were in. Cunningham said police are searching for the shooter, and they're appealing to anyone with information to contact them. Oh, boy. Okay. Yeah. That's happening. Then we've got a video that's been going around. I haven't seen it as yet, but police investigating alleged brutality. This story is interesting for many reasons. The video purportedly shows 2 police officers assaulting a suspect. That's now being reviewed by the Complaints and Corruption Branch of the police force. Chief Superintendent Chris Ling said yesterday, saying, quote, police wish to confirm social media that depicts 2 officers acting aggressively toward a male. Mm-hmm. And I'm pretty sure that video is not body cam footage, right?
I just went to ask you that. Do you think that's body cam?
I'm pretty sure it's not.
I'm sure.
But, well, in the video, which was shared on social media, one officer is seen slamming a seemingly subdued suspect down on his face before another officer kicked him in the head. Mm-hmm.
What?
Yeah. Several officers were also on the scene, but it's unclear from the video what the incident. Skipping says the suspect was being sought in reference to a car theft investigation. Police say a Honda CRV was stolen from a house on Moss Road. So Skipping says that according to reports, around 10:25 p.m. on Tuesday, police were notified that the vehicle bulletin was put out. Officers, while on routine patrol, spotted the vehicle, which was occupied by 2 men. This was off Wolf Road near Wilson Tract. And they attempted to stop the driver, but he sped off at a high rate of speed, and that resulted in a police chase. Now, this is where what the heck is happening around this place. Anyway, so police were able to arrest the 40-year-old man. He's from Toot Shop Corner. He is known to police. Mm-hmm. You know, the usual thing they say. He's known to police for murder, armed robbery, stealing, drug possession, possession of a firearm. And he's just, roaming about the streets like, whatever.
Wow.
Whatever. He runs the streets, sure. The second man was able to make, as they always say this very weird phrase, good his escape. Mm-hmm. And police continue to investigate this. Oh, man. Okay, so, So brutality is horrible, of course. Right? Horrible,
Yeah,
of course.
absolutely.
But you have to. I mean, if you think about it, if all of this is correct, I mean, no, but he's still walking about. So what is this? Is he another one of the bail people? Is he one of those with the ankle bracelets? Is that again? You can understand the frustration of an officer like you again. Like, what is this? Right? I'm not justifying anything. I'm just saying that this is incredibly, right? Aren't you angry? I'm angry. This doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, but and I get it, right? But you still, if the video is true, you can't do that though, Dwight. As frustrated as you are, because then you run the risk, of course, of damaging the case if it has to go to court. Mm-hmm. So what are we really doing here?
Yeah, I hear you. Although, if you stole my car, even though my car needs to go, but if you stole my car, I kind of wish someone would slam you on the ground on your face. I kind of wish it would. But still. But yes,
wish it, but the police shouldn't be doing that.
Right.
The police shouldn't be doing that.
Sure. Yeah. So let's talk about it. What's happening here, and what does this mean? Known to police, he's out there, known for murder, known for armed robbery, known for stealing. Is he known for starting wars in other countries too? Has he blown up anything? This is because that's a long list, and he's just out there stealing people's cars and leading them on police chases. Like nothing.
Well, so clearly he's not. He's had many incidents, it would appear, with. That's the best way you could put it with the law. I don't want to say he's a career criminal.
Well, yeah. and he'll probably be on bail by February, which is next week, right? So,
Probably, or, yeah, especially if this is true, that what he was doing is going to be overshadowed by what the officers allegedly did. You know what I mean?
well, if we want it to be.
It's going to happen. Come on.
Yeah.
You know that.
Well, certain people will
That's
make
what
it
the
so.
focus is going to be.
Certain people will make it
It's
so.
going to be that.
Certain people make it so, but they're the same ones who are complaining about the crime and what's going on in this place, and oh my gosh, the judicial system, and yeah, the same ones. But I hear you. You're absolutely right. But do you see it? And I don't know if you had this in Grand Bahama yesterday, but the police were out yesterday, and folks tweeting and posting all kinds of stuff about roadblock, and warning people where they are, like.
Well, I don't know if we had a roadblock yesterday because I didn't leave my house yesterday. But we get that, if you're in different chat groups, you get people like, warning saying, there's a roadblock here, there's a roadblock over there, there's a roadblock.
What's the point?
We do get that. Because they recognize that their friends, their colleagues may not have their car.
That's the same friends who have guns.
Have current registration. And so now they're assisting them with trying to avoid the police.
I'm watching the video right now, by the way. I thought that was a duffel bag. Wow. Oh, boy. Yeah. If this were like, your Grammy or something, horrible. But when I hear you known for murder, armed robbery, theft, stealing, it's horrible. It is, sure. I'm frustrated too. I don't know what to say.
Dwight, can I say that?
Seriously, you let us on a police chase. You let us on a police chase. That alone.
And all of that really lacks conviction.
Yeah, oh boy. Sorry. Yeah. I'm as sorry as this guy for stealing people's cars. I'm as sorry as he is for stealing people's cars and murder. But anyway, can't wait to hear the story about that. When his alleged murder took place and how long he's been out on bail, and cannot wait. But give us a call. Tell us what you think about all of this. 323. I do not endorse police brutality. Not at all. There's no reason for it. But 323-6232, 325-431, 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Yeah, this definitely isn't a body cam footage. It's someone behind some cars, behind those cars, recording with a test. I don't know what that was. Boy.
In the day of social media, everybody has the camera, so.
Yeah. All right, let's look at the text message. Someone says here, video of police abusing their powers. Okay. Another one here. I'm happy locals are reporting more and more issues. In Abaco, did anyone see the crime scene taped to preserve the evidence? Any police documenting their actions or findings? Police ain't into being held accountable for their actions, though. Wayne Monroe and Sidekick Monker have yet to say anything. Y'all still talking about that? That is not a thing. It's not a thing. He's probably still getting paid, but it's not a thing. And it never was going to be a thing. Did you really think it was? Stop now. We have to be serious.
What are we
Monker and the crime consultant nonsense. I mean, come on. Who thought that was going to produce results?
That.
And when we said it when did that happen? Whatever, 2 years ago? People said, "Oh, y'all just jealous, you're haters." Okay, sure. Anyway, they have yet to say anything they're doing that is helping curb these problems. Don't hold your breath. And they go on to say, "Can I ask?"
Still, he may be consulting, Dwight. Don't say he's not. We don't know that.
Sure. Can I ask a sobering question? This is a text. With all the national problems we are actively discussing daily, at what point will ministers be held accountable, considering we are literally paying them to just talk? Well, the opposition is silent, and the government just to do what they want. People have committed suicide over things, and yet we continue the same dumbness day by day. Well, I don't know what the suicide comment is about in this, though. That's strange. Anyway, they go on to say this nation is depressing, and the mental toll, is seen by the locals daily. Well, don't allow that to drive you to that. My goodness. Right? But yeah, you're asking some very good questions, right? But what I expect anything from a minister, all right? These MPs. You following this George Santos thing in the States, Laverne?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, but you know that wouldn't. We have an opposite situation here. I mean, do we really know any of the MPs ever? That's a case of a House member lying. Everything they said was a lie. But we don't know anything here to know whether anybody's lying. We'd never know, especially who they are. Like, where'd you come from? And all of a sudden, they're a minister. Once they get elected, we've got, I don't know which situation is worse, but nobody's winning in any. But yeah, are you expecting the ministers to have the answers? Do you really expect that? Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, I always say when they're in opposition, they talk like they have the answers.
Yeah.
Sometimes, you know that.
Sometimes.
You have all of the answers right up until you get elected.
Sometimes some opposition groups say nothing that you want to hear. But another one says, police didn't kick him enough for me. Oh, Dexter, that's not nice. Mm-hmm.
There you go again with this lack of conviction.
Yeah.
No, that is not nice. It is not right.
Mm-hmm. Dwight,
and it jeopardizes the reason why he was arrested in the first place.
I agree.
Sometimes we got to look at the bigger picture.
I get it. I totally get it. But this person says, Dwight, always remember it could be you. That is true. That is true. Especially if I stole a car and led police on a car chase and murdered somebody or held somebody up at gunpoint. It really, yes, absolutely. You are correct. Good morning, DNL. That's Dwight and Laverne, I take it. Okay. Another $100 payday for taxpayers to pay. You understand that? What does that mean?
I guess if it's police brutality, and
sue?
then, you know, he could sue the police.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they mean.
Will that be after his murder case is heard, or? Okay. Yeah, he could. We had no disaster or crisis under the brave Davis administration, so what is delaying their plans other than incompetence? Okay. And this person says here, the police during this arrest, especially in the public, people love social media. It makes you wonder if these police had any sound training. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, Dwight, that's the same frustration adults feel when they abuse their children. If you can understand that, then you can understand why people abuse kids. They are frustrated. Okay, this is the lack of, I think we're trying to say, empathy for the accused that you guys were talking about. So don't criticize the nurses and doctors. What? How do we get to that? Man, okay, that's a bit of a stretch. That is a bit of a stretch. This person says, are you okay with Monker being paid? Me? Of course not. For what? Who? Again, we knew that was not going to produce any results. And we said as much. And everybody was like, oh, stop, give him a chance. He's from the streets. You're detached. You don't know anything. We said that. And did they care? Did they care? No. And here we are, almost a record murder rate last year. And we're off to this year. But we need more of you to say things, because people say, oh, y'all are just jealous. Yesterday, someone sent a text about that too. You mentioned the Clint Watson thing. Still no statement on whether that is accurate. What are they waiting for? Anyway, people said, oh, if you say anything, they're going to say you're just jealous. I'm like, okay. So you all say something. Where is the public outcry on these things? Caller, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning, this is Strachan voice along with you on Laverne, Dwight.
Hi.
Good morning.
We need justice, law, and order in this country. A couple of things I want to say, Dwight. Now, I suppose the police only supposed to use his feet when he if it's what you would call in self-defense. You see, a situation as such, you're going to have the psychiatrist there because you don't know what type of harm is being done. The next thing, if that guy or his family sued the police or whosoever, who got to pay? Us, the Bahamian people. Too much foolishness is happening in this country. All that the police are supposed to do, arrest the guy and put it, make his report that when they go to court, the magistrate or the judge would see what really took place, and the judge or the magistrate supposed to act from that. Too much foolishness. My other point is, right, I read on your radio station on this morning, situation with the Palestinians. My tongue get tired. But my point is, I was hearing problem for years about pertaining to the Palestinians. Oh boy, I don't know why I talk a lot doing it this morning. But my point is, it shows you the wickedness that are happening around the world when it comes to what's the organization name? The people who gets together with convention pertaining
the UN.
Right, Pat, thank you. Right. The thing is, it shows wickedness, but because by now a situation as such should have been reconciled. For years, we're hearing of this problem with the Palestinians. For years, I was hearing of this problem. Man, something, and those people that's in authority, they claim that they have the answer. And they always want to tell country what they should do from what they should do when people are getting killed.
Okay.
Thank you.
I hear you. I guarantee you the UN has said a lot. Everybody said a lot. These are internal issues, though. But there are many conflicts as long running, if not longer. Probably much longer than that one. But there's only so much you can make a country do without it escalating into a war. And right, you see what's happening with Ukraine, right? People can only do so much before it's seen as an act of war, and then all of us will be living in bunkers. But I hear you. That is sad how long that one's been going on. But like I tell you, there's a whole lot more conflicts all over the world. People, Haiti is one of those, right? And quite a few in other parts. Let's take another call. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Glenn. Firstly, I would like to good morning to your guest. I would like
to.
Yes, good morning. I always like when she's on, Dwight. She really compliments you very well.
Thank you.
Firstly, I would like to encourage Dr. Darwell and his team with the challenge that he has to be dealing with. I want him to be encouraged to work this through to the police. You know, Dwight, there was a
the
time
health
when,
minister Darwell.
Yes,
and the police.
No, I just want to encourage Minister Darwell.
Oh, okay.
And I want to talk about the police situation.
I see.
We may have heard a story about these experiments, and I call them Lucifer experiments. And when the generator of all day, man, perhaps he should not have, because the animals don't carry on. Some of them carry do, but the trees don't. The roots try to kill one another, but they don't do it like we do. But I'm wondering, saying that we have the power to generate, operate, and destroy, which is the powers that's within the Godhead. We seem to be losing the battle by just taking advantage and falling victim to the destructive part of us. And we need to realize that we can make things, we can create things, we can build things. But all around the world, is the destruction seemed to be taking control because of this Lucifer experiment. Remember when Job, and of course the Creator, he was discussing consciousness contemplated itself when he said, "I bet you can't crack Job." And Job was able to prove that the generator of all things was winning. But now in this Lucifer experiment that we're having on Earth, the destructive part seemed to be winning. And I think we need to collectively, as a human race, come together and figure out how we could reverse this, because it's going to lead to all of our demise.
Well, let me ask you something. Do you think now is worse than we've seen in the history of mankind? Do you think that things are worse now?
Well, we haven't seen the history. We only see this. We have read what people. We've read the polluted and diluted aspect of history.
Oh, okay.
When you really face it, because there are things that we really don't know, and the books are hidden, and I can tell you where they are, but that's all right. And then we could probably learn some more. But no, more people. Like I told you, when you have this clutter, it's the enemy of clarity. And the more you have people operate and destroy, and Lucifer in this experiment seemed to be taking advantage of the destructive force and proving to the generator, guess what? You made this stupid thing called man. And that's our biggest problem right now. So we need to prove to the Creator and Lucifer that we can be more generative and operative and not destructive.
Okay.
All right?
I hear you. Thank you very much. I know things seem really, really, really chaotic, right? But I would maybe some of you would bet me on this. I would reckon and reason that there's probably less chaos today than there's been at various points in the past, and that you are safer today than you would have been 100, 200, 500, 1,000 years ago. We could debate it at another time, but I don't know. But what other people have said and written. So, but I don't know. I don't know if Laverne, you feel like going down that road.
Can we really make that kind of a comparison? You know what I mean?
I mean, he says it sounds like we're heading off the cliff, right? We're about this is, but I mean, we could easily get there. Very, very, very. And you heard about the doomsday clock and how it's inched a little bit more closer to doom because of what's happened over the past few years, what's going on with Russia and what's going with the pandemic. And so recent events have pushed us a little closer to the danger zone. But before that, even with, all the news that we watch every night and see all this stuff, and it looks bad, social media is helping to make things look a lot worse than they are, I suspect. There are major conflicts around the world, absolutely, but...
Is social media making it appear as, that look as bad, or is it now we just have access? So we're seeing these things more than we were before, and were these things always happening?
Both.
But it's just that.
Both things can be correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I think so. All right, let's take one more call before we have to take a break. 323-6232. 325-4316. Does that person want to talk to us? No? Yeah? Okay. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796. Good morning, caller. You're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight. Good morning, Laverne.
Hi.
Good morning.
Yes, Dwight. Yeah, I'm up in age, right, Dwight? And I'm facing my own mortality, right? And so the gentleman that called is correct. Everything is being embellished.
Are you there? What happened?
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Did we lose him? But it's still there. Still there. What is he? Okay, well. All right. I don't know what happened. You can call us back. Call us back. Yeah, okay. Let's read a couple messages as we go to the break. Well, I think that was it. Yeah, let's go to the break. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. We'll pick this up on the other side. Stay with us.
Wake up, it's a new day. It's the start of a new way. You know that it's the start of the end of the old way. Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
It's time for your first good traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. RBC's mortgage specialist can provide helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. A reminder of the work that goes on that continues on Gladstone Road, the paving work that happens mainly at night, and you're still being encouraged to avoid the area if you can at night, or follow the posted signs if you're a resident in that part of the island. All right, so in your real-time traffic this morning, Gladstone Road is busy for you right now. From JFK Drive, the northbound lanes there, you'll see that there. Milo Butler Highway, much worse. Heavy traffic from well south of Fire Trail straight up to Tawny Williams Darling Highway. The traffic is backed up along Fire Trail as you approach that roundabout with Milo Butler Highway, that one there. And further south, you'll see a bit of congestion on Milo Butler Highway as you approach Carmichael Road, Carmichael eastbound to that junction, and with Faith Avenue also looking busy for you right now. Coral Harbor Road, well, the Carmichael Road to Coral Harbor Road looking busy westbound, and slow going for you eastbound on Carmichael, just east of Fire Trail on the way to Blue Hill Road, which is seeing some congestion from St. Vincent straight up to Independence Drive, especially north of Soldier Road as you try to get over that hill to the roundabout with Independence Drive. Independence Drive westbound looking busy as well. Congestion at the intersection of East Street and Soldier Road. That area looking very busy, especially between Soldier and the roundabout with East-West Highway and Independence Drive. And in Eastern New Providence, we're seeing building traffic on Eastern Road westbound and on Prince Charles Drive near Fox Hill Road and near Beatrice Avenue, and especially where Prince Charles becomes Robinson Road between Soldier and Old Trail. Those are your hot spots right now. That's your real-time traffic and your morning blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist. And at 7:38, time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by the Chickcharney Challenge, just 2 days away. We've got high pressure across the area that will shift eastwards ahead of an approaching cold front that's expected to enter the northwest Bahamas later this afternoon. For the northwest Bahamas today, ahead of that front, partly to mostly sunny and warm, but look for increasing cloudiness by this afternoon with scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms, mainly near the frontal boundary this evening through tonight. Smallcraft caution will come into effect by this evening after the frontal passage, and smallcraft operators should be alert for gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. For the central and southeast Bahamas, mostly sunny and warm today, mostly fair and mild tonight with a chance of a few sprinkles across the central islands. Temperatures getting up to around 84 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius, so very warm ahead of that front, getting down to about 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius tonight. What will the front bring? Well, that is expected to push through the northwest Bahamas and into the central islands through Friday with high pressure building behind it. So for Friday, look for mostly fair and breezy conditions with a chance of a few showers, mainly near the frontal boundary. Saturday, variably cloudy, warm, and windy with a chance of a few passing showers. Look for highs after the front passes in the mid to upper 70s, lows in the upper 60s. That's your morning blend weather check, brought to you by the Chickcharney Challenge. It's time to claw through the 9-foot wall in the Chickcharney Challenge this Saturday, January 28th at Clifton Heritage Park. Sign up today, chickcharneychirin.com.
Whether you're looking for your first or new home, or even using your existing home as equity, RBC understands that your journey to home ownership is unique, and your mortgage financing should reflect that. That is why at RBC, we have dedicated mortgage specialists that provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. Best of all, the RBC mortgage team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
With so much going on in the world today, only accepting cash at your business can be risky. Let Fidelity offer you and your customers safety, convenience, and the flexibility of a fixed or mobile terminal. Take it with you, on the move and on the go, because business should never stop. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit us at any of our branches.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
With over 25 years in business, nothing says commitment to our people, culture, and service like Rev. And this year is no different. We will continue to elevate your home experience for you to create and share memories for years to come, while keeping you connected to the people and things you love most. Our pledge to provide quality service each year remains true. Rev is made for you.
Whether your business is in-store, on the go, or both, let Fidelity work with you to maximize your customers' payment options with a fixed or mobile terminal so that you never miss a sale. It's safer than cash and more convenient so that you can take your business anywhere. For details, contact a business development officer today at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport, or visit our website at fidelitygroup.com.
Florida Auto Parts can deliver what your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket, new or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
Finding ways to articulate the feeling I'm going through. I just can't say I don't love you, 'cause I love you.
We are back here with Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner on this Thursday morning. As we said, it's Health Week, and coming up in our 8 o'clock hour, we're going to be talking about breast cancer and surviving breast cancer. And later in Morning Blend Business, in our 9 o'clock hour, we're talking with the Bahamas Insurance Association. They're saying premiums could go up as a result of some things that have happened over the past few years. And we're going to find out what we should be expecting here this morning. All right, so the big headline in the Nassau Guardian, Roker urges stronger action on immigration. Says consistent enforcement of laws is urgently needed. That's Loftus Roker, remember him? Our candidate Ames writing about it. Former Immigration Minister A. Loftus Roker said yesterday that there's no sense that the government is placing a strong enough focus on the country's illegal immigration problem. And he chided current Minister Keith Bell for previously declaring that there was no crisis, even as the situation was clearly worsening. Roker said, quote, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, boy. He said, quote, everybody thinks there's a crisis except him. We're not serious, but you're going to see other people take over your country. It's not only the Haitians, but our immigration policy is bad. You've got other people who are going to take over your country. Referring to Bell, Roker said, quote, he's not in this world. He's out of this world, if that's what he is saying, because 99% of Bahamians believe we are in a crisis. 99, if he is saying we're not in a crisis, then something is wrong with him. He must be on the moon. Okay. Bell made the comment that the Bahamas was not facing an immigration crisis back in October and has repeatedly assured that the Davis administration has the situation under control, even as a worsening economic and security situation in Haiti leads to more boatloads of migrants arriving in Bahamian territory. In Parliament last week, Bell, seemingly triggered by social media claims about a growing presence of undocumented migrants in shanty towns, so the Department of Immigration will ramp up its special operations in the coming weeks to ensure people in shanty towns have legal status. I think it was you last week, wasn't that last week, Laverne, when we said that was the issue there, to make sure that the people in the shanty towns have legal status, not about the shanty towns themselves. The fact that that's fine as long as you're here legally, the shanty town is okay.
Carry on.
Right. Okay. Well, I guess that must be another minister. Perhaps that part. Anyway, he also said that the department is, quote, presently reviewing our policies to strengthen our investigation and confirmation of the living conditions of all work permit holders.
Just words, Dwight. That's all it is. Just words.
Yeah, but also the fact that you were just now doing that when so many people saw that this was a big part of the problem many decades
times
ago.
Isn't that like par for the course? Because in most times, isn't that what we do? We, wait until enough people, like, that's how I feel. Like, they go like, oh, yeah, no, we're not going to bother with that. We'll wait until sufficient people start talking. Only 10 people said something. And then when they say, okay, 100, 200 people are now talking about it. Let's go check it out.
Yeah. Well, Roker, though, says he's concerned that there's too lax an approach being taken toward the problem. He said, quote, I have nothing against anybody, adding that one of his dearest friends was a Haitian man. Okay, that's just like, right? That nobody. That's I love it. I'm not racist. One of my best friends is black.
Right.
One of my best friends is black. One of my best friends is white.
When you said that, I thought of that. When you watch movies and people go,
movies.
I'm not, because
real life.
Cousin dated a black man, and so
and we liked him very much.
I'm not racist.
Yes. He was fun at dinner parties. Anyway, okay. By coming into my country, you should come here legally. And if you don't come here legally, you should be sent out because you can't come here and take Bahamian jobs from them. We don't carry out the rules. And if you don't like the rules, then you should change them. We do not believe in obeying the laws. We pass laws that we do not obey. Right. Well, okay.
Or enforce.
Let's get your reaction to it. Is it... I don't know if it needed to become a personal thing to say, because I don't think any minister has been different in recent years. It's a lot of talk.
Yeah.
And while they will crack down on one little aspect of something, but in the background, all kinds of things are happening, and it's as plain as day, right? So everything is a show. Everything is like a parade of words, as you hinted to.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with you on that, Dwight.
Yeah.
You know, it's just talk.
Mm-hmm.
And
So-
if people meaning us, the Bahamian public, if we talk about it enough, and it's almost like, oh, we can't avoid this, we can't ignore this. Everybody's talking about it, all talking about it. Reporters asking us questions, people on social media, okay, so we gotta say something.
Yeah.
But it feels like other than that, if we don't say anything, then we'll just go along.
Yeah, but so again, it's not just Bell, it's everybody. But
Right.
But
It's not just him, he's just the latest in the series of ministers.
But you can tell that very few people are serious about dealing with this issue, right? They're focused on capturing people who are here, who are undocumented, but they're not going into the companies, the companies that are hiring folks. They're not going in there and checking things out. That's not happening at all, right? Everybody knows these companies, and they have lots of people. You see all these people in the backs of trucks and stuff like that. Like, who are they? Who are they? But go to the boss and say, show me what you have. What do you have for this person? And do you know where they are living? Do you know you got a work permit for this person? But do you know where they're living? Do you care where they're living? And you need to be dealt with. You need to be dealt with. Why did you do this? Why did you get this work permit? You don't care. You just need your building to be finished. You just need your grounds to be taken care of. That's all you care about. But you don't care if they live at the dump. Doesn't matter to you as long as they get to work before 9. Yeah. Once we crack down on those folks, it'll never. That's easier than what we're doing. Obviously.
How do you propose that they would identify which companies may
Please
hire people who are undocumented?
That's jokey. That's all I have to say. Okay. Everybody knows. Those folks are admitting, they're laughing at us, they're joking, they text us every time. Yeah, but the Bahamians are lazy. So everybody knows who's doing this. And until you crack down on the people hiring folks, this will never change. Never, ever, ever. And clearly people are coming here undocumented and getting with their friends who are working for those companies and then getting straight. So I'm sure clearly that's happening too. But the word out there is, come to the Bahamas. They don't like to hire Bahamians, and you'll be fine. But they'll never crack down on those companies. Never. But don't expect anything to change until that happens. Do you agree?
Yeah.
Let me know. 323-6232. 325-4316. 325-4259. Tweet us, Facebook us, text us, 422-4796.
I agree, though. Because if you begin to crack down on these companies and these people, anybody who hires someone who's undocumented, and you give them a serious fine, that'll help to curb the problem a bit.
Fine or worse. Jail some people, shut them down, whatever, something. You violated every single law and you don't care. Let that word get out there that they are cracking down the companies that are doing this. So that's a hostile place for folks. If you're serious. If you're serious. Well, don't go there looking for work if you're not documented. Right.
Yeah. If you're not here legally, you have no permit to work. You can't apply because companies don't want to hire you because they don't want to run the risk. So you need a task force.
Yeah. But like we said as well, and
out there.
Roker hinted at it too. Well, Bell finally said they're going to look into that. But we were saying that a few weeks ago, right? That make that a requirement that you have to provide the accommodations. Since you want a work permit for this person, you have to provide the accommodations.
Yeah.
Especially knowing that we have a housing crisis in the country. What are you bringing all these people for, and you don't care about where they're going to live? You provide the accommodations. So maybe you need to build a complex for your workers. Up to standards, up to building code. And if you can't do that, if you're not interested in that, well then, you better buy a Bahamian who's living at home. Did I say buy? Hire, wow. Hi. Oh, boy. Good morning, caller, you're on the air.
Yes, good morning, Dwight, and good morning, Laverne. Hope you're doing well.
Morning.
Hi.
Listen, do you remember when we had that FTX debacle?
No, that doesn't sound familiar. FTX.
Yeah, You know, he said that we are a country of laws.
Mm-hmm.
But we, like Laverne said, we are not a country of law enforcement. Though. It seems like people can come in our country and do whatever they want, and there's no repercussions for it.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember several years ago when that a foreign banker was stopped by immigration, and he didn't have his documents on him, and he was detained?
I do. Mm-hmm.
Right? And we were talking about having everybody getting a national ID card that you must carry with you on time. The immigration, the law enforcement agency, so to speak, they need to know who is in our country at all times. There shouldn't be no, trying to figure out who is here. And if the minister said he is telling everyone who is not here legally to leave. Dwight, have you seen any caravans to the airport or to the dock? Have you seen anybody leaving?
Why would they do that?
That is such a good point.
Dr. Minnis made the same statement when he was in power. Do you remember that?
Yeah. You remember a texter last week said, whenever they say that, more people come.
Listen, and Mr. Munder was on the radio. We were tracking them. You were tracking them, and you allowed them to come in Bahamian waters. Why didn't you stop them before they got in Bahamian waters and turn them around? Mm. Bahamians. Listen, Dwight, I don't believe nothing they say. Mm-hmm. I'd be in trouble, man. We in trouble. This country gone. If somebody don't the former Prime Minister Lyndon said, if we don't fight for it, we don't deserve to have it. And so we got to fight for our country. We got not to say that we are discriminatory in any manner, but we can only. We need people here.
Yes.
But we need to invite people here.
Absolutely.
We need to grow our economy. Yes, our population is small. So, come by invitation like Canada and the other people in other states do. Don't just come in and do whatever you want. That's my problem in the whole situation. Thanks for your time.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. All right. We got a lot of your messages coming. We'll try to get to those at some point. But we're going to break for news and be back with more Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Cause you're perfect, and I know that you're worth it. I can't walk away. Even though we're going through it, and it makes you
wake up.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
And you're listening to the
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com and on the Guardian Radio app for smart devices. We're also on your televisions on Cable Bahamas, Channel 969, and BTC Flow Channel 612. You can tweet us at Morning Blend 969 or Facebook.com/MorningBlend969. Text us 422-4796. And now at 8:18. It's time for another check of your weather for today, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. High pressure across the area will shift eastwards ahead of an approaching cold front that's expected to enter the northwest Bahamas later this afternoon. So, for the northwestern islands, look for partly to mostly sunny and warm conditions at first today, but with increasing cloudiness by this afternoon, with scattered showers and the chance of isolated thunderstorms, mainly near the frontal boundary this evening through tonight. The small craft caution will come into effect by this evening after the frontal passage, and small craft operators should be alert for gusty winds and higher seas in or near heavy showers and thunderstorms. For the central and southeast Bahamas today, mostly sunny and warm, turning mostly fair and mild with a chance of a few sprinkles across the central islands by tonight. Temperature-wise, we're looking at highs getting up to around 84 Fahrenheit, 29 Celsius. Overnight lows tonight getting down to about 72 Fahrenheit, 22 Celsius. In your extended outlook, that cold front is expected to push through the northwest Bahamas and into the central islands through Friday, with high pressure building behind it. So for Friday, tomorrow, mostly a few showers, mainly near the frontal boundary. And Saturday, variably cloudy, warm, and windy, with a chance of a few passing showers. That's your Morning Blend weather check, brought to you by Bahamas First Insurance. Visit firstonlineinsurance.com and select a Bahamas First agent to purchase, pay, or renew your car or home insurance 100% online, or just stop by any Bahamas First agent. Bahamas First, celebrating 40 years as the first Bahamian general insurance company. What's first for you comes first for us. And it's time for another check of your traffic for this morning, brought to you by RBC. RBC's mortgage specialists can provide helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. A reminder about Gladstone Road, the work that goes on after hours, in the evenings, overnight. The paving work that continues, if you can, at night, or follow the posted signs if you are a resident in the area. Right now, in your real-time traffic, Gladstone Road is busy for you, just north of Fire Trail in the northbound lanes. You'll see that traffic there. Milo Butler Highway is busier, and that's from well south of Fire Trail through the Fire Trail roundabout, straight through to the roundabout at Tonic Williams-Darling Highway. And that's really looking busy for you. Fire Trail is backed up as well, eastbound to that roundabout with Milo Butler Highway. Elsewhere, we've got Carmichael Road westbound, some congestion there on the way to Coral Harbor Road, and eastbound on Carmichael as you approach Blue Hill Road. Blue Hill Road seeing heavy traffic as usual from St. Vincent Road straight through to the Independence Drive roundabout, through Robinson Road up to Cordo Avenue. So it's going to be a busy commute for you there this morning. Elsewhere, East Street also seeing some issues from the Pinewood area, from Bamboo Boulevard straight up to Soldier Road and on through the roundabout with East West Highway and Independence Drive to essentially Robinson Road. So that part of the island looking very congested for you. We've got West Bay Street seeing some heavy traffic as you approach Saunders Beach and the roundabout with New Providence Highway and make your way through to Arawak Key. Portions downtown as well as you approach just east of Nassau Street into the downtown area, and Shirley and Duke Street looking congested. Then we've got Prince Charles Drive, pockets along Prince Charles Drive at the major intersections, and Eastern Road from east of Fox Hill to about Johnson Road, Bernard Road as well, and back to Independence Drive, both directions, but mainly westbound looking very busy for you. So a lot of issues out there, but good luck to you this morning. That's your real-time traffic and your Morning Blend traffic alert brought to you by RBC. Visit RBC to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
For your first or new home, or even using your existing home as equity, RBC understands that your journey to home ownership is unique, and your mortgage financing should reflect that. That is why at RBC we have dedicated mortgage specialists that provide sound advice and helpful solutions to make your dream home a reality. Best of all, the RBC mortgage team is mobile, flexible, and will meet you almost anywhere. Visit rbc.com/take 60 seconds to connect with an RBC mortgage specialist.
Technology serves to make our lives better, so why not your business too? At Custom Computers, we've been maintaining our knowledge and relationships with top tech companies since 1987 and carry only the most trusted brands like Apple, Microsoft, HP, and more. No company has helped more businesses build reliable IT systems than Custom Computers. You name it, we've done it. Call 396-1101 to talk to any of our business experts. Find trust in your tech. Count on Custom Computers.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
Legacy College Readiness and Tours. Already get the first set of knowledge. Now it's time to prepare you for college. You're thinking so much you gotta do. Legacy will handle that for you.
Providing a comprehensive guide through the college selection process, regardless of a student's academic profile. There are many ways one should engage in college selection process. Word of mouth, extensive research, college fairs, and if possible, the most important, college visits. A campus visit is your opportunity to get a first-hand view of a college. A college catalog, brochure, or website can only show you so much. To really get a feel for the college, you need to check out the town, the city, walk around the quad, sit in a class, and visit dorms. College tours are an important part of the college selection process, and Legacy College Readiness and Tours offers that opportunity. If you're interested in hearing more about college campus tours and summer workshop prospects, give us a call at 242-809-5278 or email us at legacycollegetours@gmail.com.
Is your 2023 goal to move into your own home? Well, future homeowner, enjoy another payday. Build or buy a home with financing from CIBC First. You'll receive cash back every month for 1 year. A home is one of your greatest investments, so secure one soon. Visit CIBCFCIB.com/homeowners payday for more info. Offer valid from January 9 through to March 31, 2023. Terms and conditions apply.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I have this thing where I get older, but just never wiser. Midnights become my afternoons. When my depression works the graveyard shift, all of the people I've ghosted stand there in the room. I should not be left to my own devices. They come with prices and vices. I end up in crisis. Till as old as time, I wake up screaming from dreaming. One day I'll watch as you're leaving, 'cause you got tired of my scheming. For the last time, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me. At tea time, everybody agrees. I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. It must be exhausting, always rooting for the anti-hero.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.1, along with Laverne Gardner. Coming up in a few minutes, we're going to be talking, as it is Health Week on the show, we're going to be talking about breast cancer and surviving breast cancer this morning. So that's coming up in just a bit. But Laverne, we just have a couple messages to get through before we get to that. And as we continue the discussion about immigration and some interesting messages here. This person says here, Dwight and your guest, you guys are missing the point. The work permit holder should be working for the permit, for the person who applied for the permit. They're not allowed to work where they please, competing with behemoths for jobs. So having a work permit and walking around saying they're straight is out of the scope, I guess you're saying, is an offense because the work permit holder would be working out of their scope and should be deported. Why can't you guys get it right? Well, Texter, I think you are a bit confused there. In many of these instances, the person who applied for the work permit knows fully well that that is what that work permit holder intends to do. And they aren't calling them in to say, why are you working for other people instead of me? They are practically endorsing it. And prove me wrong. So this was a part of the plan from the beginning, because I don't have enough work for you to do. I don't have enough money to pay you. So yeah, go and do whatever you can on the side as long as you get my stuff done. This is not new. This has been going on for a long time, and the authorities know fully well. But they're not cracking down on these companies. Why is that? The onus is on the person. The onus is on, you fine. Get that person, kick them out of the country. Another person will come because there is a market. Somebody will always hire them. So until we get serious about that and show you fined, you will be put in jail for this. This immigration crisis is never going to end. Never, ever, ever. Laverne, you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Let's see. We've got a couple more messages before we go to the break. I wanted to read this one. Where did it go? This person says here, reviewing the policy is clear. The only reason you review it is if you want to change or remove the policy, so be wary when they say that, okay? Also, these migrants send $50 to $60 million back to their country every year, and that's the money we can document. There is no instance where they cannot afford to put their family and themselves in proper living conditions. If the demand for housing were to increase, it would be a big boost for the local economy as well. Well, like we said, put the onus on the companies to prove that their work permit holders have homes, have a home that is acceptable and up to standard. That would change a lot of attitudes in many ways. Let's take this call really quickly. Good morning, caller, you're on the air.
Morning, Dwight. Morning, Laverne. I'm going to try to make my comments. I'm going to try to make my comments very quick here, as best as I can. Firstly, I believe that there should be now considered a moratorium for at least a year from giving out work permits. I think we have sufficient persons in this country at this particular time, despite the fact that employers may say that they need other persons. I believe that now, with all of these work permits that's out there, persons who are working within and without their scopes for what the permit was issued, we need to now find out who's here, do a proper documentation of these people, and see if we can utilize them to another level besides where they are now. And I give him, he's one of those that I really herald as a hero of this country. He and Brian McCartney are the only two, in my humble view, that really tried within past times and recent times to try and make a dent in this immigration crisis. People criticized them for the harsh stance, But now today, some people would say the chickens came home to roost, and we're seeing now what's going on in this country. This race is not going to get any better until we really take the hard stance. Our immigration laws in closing, I think we don't really need to tweak them much because everything is already there. We just need enforcement into these things, and we'll just see where the country goes from there. But thanks for taking my call, Dwight. I'll continue to listen.
All right. Thanks a lot. As we go to the break, this text here, are we going to address the fraud going on in the immigration department? Well, if there is, obviously not. How many years is this? That's not new. If that is the case, right? And this person says most of our immigration issues are are coming from the immigration department via corrupt officials. Hence the reason so many people are in possession of work permits when raids are conducted. Okay. Well, we're going to take a break. When we come back, Health Week continues, and we're talking about breast cancer. Stay with us. This is Morning Blend on Guardian Radio 96.9.
For the last time, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem, it's me. At tea time, everybody agrees. I'll stare directly at the sun, but never in the mirror. Always rooting for the anti-hero.
With so much going on in the world today, only accepting cash at your business can be risky. Let Fidelity offer you and your customers safety, convenience, and the flexibility of a fixed or mobile terminal. Take it with you, on the move and on the go, because business should never stop. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit us at any of our branches.
Hey, Bill, glad to see you back in the office.
Who?
Bill.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think you're mistaking me for someone else.
Tom.
Nope.
Jack.
No.
Alex.
No. Want me to just tell you?
Nope, I got this, George.
No, you don't. Still not me.
Adam.
Not even close, man.
We're like a coworker that didn't forget your name. CG Atlantic Agents and Brokers. Good like that.
Okay, good to see you, Mike John Sean.
It's Mordecai.
Sarah, how are you doing? Okay. Are you sure? I noticed you've been down lately.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know. I can't really put into words how I'm feeling, but I know I don't feel like myself sometimes. There's just so much going on in my life. School, friends, sports. Sometimes I worry about different things and feel stressed.
I'm glad you're talking to me. And it's okay to talk about your feeling. It's normal to feel changes depending upon what's going on around you.
Yeah?
Of course. All of us should be concerned with our mental health and our well-being. Good mental health means that we can cope. You can talk to me anytime when you feel like it.
Okay. We should have these check and talks more often and take things from there.
Message is brought to you by PAHO WHO and the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Florida Auto Parts can deliver all the auto parts your car will ever need, direct from the USA and from around the world. Florida Auto Parts provides fast delivery on auto parts, and we ship throughout the Bahamas, genuine or aftermarket, new or used, and all for the best price. Call Florida Auto Parts Trusted Parts Rep on WhatsApp at 1-786-772-8777 to save on your next auto parts purchase. Florida Auto Parts, the right parts at the right price.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
I do believe in you, and I know you believe in me.
Welcome back to Morning Blend here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strong along with Laverne Gardner. And as we said, it's Health Week. We've been talking about a lot of issues all week long. And this morning we're focusing on cancer, not just breast cancer, but cancer. And we've got some wonderful, wonderful folks in the studio with us. We've got Dr. Abby Scherer and Melissa Major. Great to see you all again. Good morning. Let's make sure all of your mics up there. All right. So this is exciting what you all are going to be doing, and you're both cancer survivors.
Yes.
And we know this is affecting so many people, so many families in our country. Doc, you were talking about it in your family alone, just the numbers, and so people are going through this all the time. But you want to help. You want to help. Let's talk about it, how you're doing this, and why you feel it's important.
Okay. First of all, I have to say that Melissa and I both went through cancer.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was breast, hers was Hodgkin's
lymphoma.
Right.
Oh, boy.
Yeah.
And she was before me, so I could let her start and tell a little bit about her, and then I'll tell a little bit about myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Melissa.
So I'm a 21-year survivor of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Wow.
And it's a cancer of your lymphatic system. Non-Hodgkin's lymphoma is not common with young people. You talk about leukemia or lymphoma. So non-Hodgkin's is one of those cancers that old men who work in chemical fields would normally present with. And I did my treatment at MD Anderson in Houston, Texas Research Center, because at the time I was in my early 20s. Mm-hmm. And my doctors here wanted to do some further studies. And so I was sent away to do my treatment. Came back home, and I've been working in the cancer community ever since at the Cancer Society of the Bahamas. I still volunteer there often. And, working with the local oncologists, we did the breast cancer initiative studies the other day. And I've been doing support group and other educational things at the Cancer Society, and just doing some of my own initiatives and give back. I consider myself to be a patient advocate. So when patients come to me and they ask for help, I would walk them through the process of, what needs to be done. I've had opportunities where I've worked with families. Sometimes it's the families that will reach out to me and say, hey, Melissa, you've been through this. So, let us know what's the best steps for us to take to get through this journey. Mm-hmm. And because of that, and doing my treatment at MD Anderson, I've always been interested in patient navigation. And so Dr. Abby Jackson and a few of my other mentors, said to me, why don't you go, you get your certification, qualify yourself, learn as much as you can learn about the field, because it is actually a career path in terms of there are nursing navigators, and then there are patient navigators. It's clinical and non-clinical. So what I'm doing is actually the non-clinical part of it. And Abby and I have worked behind the scenes with patients all the time. We would bounce off each other. I should do, Melissa, I just met this person. I'd be like, Abby, I just met someone who's a breast cancer survivor, so I need you to help her out in terms of, what she would have to go through, because I'm not a breast cancer survivor, but I have persons that I work closely with in terms of mentorship and stuff like that for other patients. And so I formed an organization called MD Patient Navigation. And the mission services for MD Patient Navigation, of course, is patient navigation. We have health and wellness coaching. And I'm also a certified health and wellness coach, as well as community outreach. Because of my experience, I have always been big on give back and community outreach, because during my 21 years, I have always had somebody there that gave back to me. Like, God has just been awesome with, this journey. And this is now our give back. And Abby has always been that person that says, anytime I say, Abby, let's, she say, go. So she is literally the one. I've been hibernating for, some time. And she's the one that pulled me out and say, you know what, it's time to let's go. Mm-hmm. Let's make this happen. And so I actually have a cancer survivorship series that I run every first and third Saturday at the Cancer Society. And it involves all topics as it relates to survivorship for patients and caregivers. And of course, with any program that you run, there's going to be a fee. I shouldn't say a fee, but there are going to be operational expenses, because we have the best of the best when it comes to persons in the arena of cancer that are going to come out and work with these patients. And so it's every first and third Saturday, and it's hosted at the Cancer Society. And we are focusing on all things survivorship as it relates to fitness, nutrition. We have the psychological part of it, which is very, very important because, everybody goes through the mental when it comes. We also have primary care and oncology care. We have the creative, which is also very, very important because you need a space that you can actually let go of. Dr. Ebby's space is running. Believe it or not, my space is coloring. People don't know that, but I love to color.
Crayons?
Well, pencil crayons.
Okay.
So it's like adult coloring.
Right.
You have those fancy adult coloring books. So I have a lot of those. So I do adult coloring quite, a lot. And that was also when I went through my treatment, that was my space, just to let go of the anxiety and everything else. So we have a lot going on for this entire year, every month. So we need patients, caregivers to just register for the program. And I'm going to do my part in making sure that everybody has this space. And Dr. Ebby is doing her part and raising all the money to make sure that this happens.
Wow.
So that's a lot.
Good morning.
Very inspiring.
Just wanted to know. Hi. Good
Hi.
morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Just wanted to know how impactful has this series been? With people coming in, participating, finding their own spaces, just the support to know you're not alone.
Well, can I tell you that I've been doing this for a very, very, very long time, and even as a survivor myself, just knowing that, it's an opportunity. When you're in an environment with other survivors, life is very, very different, believe it or not, because we could share and understand what we know what we've been through. When we go into environments with other people that are not survivors, we tend to pull back because there's some type of backlash, or my auntie Grammy been through this, or why did you do that type of treatment, or and so having this space where we have all survivors and caregivers and persons are actually comfortable to share, it grows and it grows and it gets bigger and bigger. I've done this program with the Cancer Society during the summer. Actually, we ran it through the entire summer. But, what I'm doing now is I need the program not just to be for a period. The whole idea is the program to run continuously so that no matter where you are in your journey, you can come and you can be a part of it. Because for most persons that are new to cancer, it's almost as if you go back into your new normal and then you pull back. And sometimes, I was one of those that suffered from severe depression because I tried to jump back into my new normal. Oh. And I had to pull back. And so when I found the Cancer Society and, I had this space where people actually understood and they knew what it was that I was going through, like my entire life changed. And this community all the time, you don't have to wait for the next series to pop up. You have it there available to you all the time. And that is the purpose of us making sure that right now it's only the first and third because we're building on it. And once we get the opportunity and we get what we need, we could run this we could have courses every day.
Yeah. Dr. Ebby, we'll get to you in a second. But who's taking part?
One thing I want to say, though, that is important, what Melissa was saying, we tried to include family islands.
Right.
Yes.
Because that's a major part. A lot of these people on the family islands have no information, no support, anything. And so the purpose is to bring on family island patients through the internet, platforms, however.
Right.
Yeah.
So in the community, are you seeing men and women of all ages?
Listen.
Because we don't hear too many men say, I'm a cancer survivor. We know they are there, but it doesn't seem to be, maybe that's just me, I don't know. But what's your experience?
Literally, we do have men and women, and we have kids. We have everybody actually that come out and they participate. And we also have, like I said, the caregivers that come out and participate because learn more about survivorship because they're not going through it. Like a caregiver's experience is totally different from a survivor's experience, And so yes, we do have men that come out and they support. We also have, as it relates to the Cancer Society, They house the patients from the family island. So when they are actually here doing their treatment, they can actually jump in. They have an opportunity to jump in and be a part of what it is that we're doing.
Okay, wonderful. All right, Dr. Abby, tell us your story.
I'm going on, I think, I was diagnosed in 2010, so we're going into 2023. So that's 13 years ago. And I was diagnosed just before I ran my first half marathon.
Right.
And then I was preparing for Miami Marathon, the full marathon, and I was diagnosed the week before.
And
So-
when I heard about that, I don't know if this is wrong, but I'm like, but you were so fit and always, right? And
very active, very fit.
People were surprised. Were you
everything,
surprised as
even-
well, right?
Even my oncologist said, how did this happen?
Yeah.
But I have family history and it's deep, Dwight. I couldn't avoid it.
Yeah.
Right. So after having 4 major surgeries in 1 year, returned home, and then I started running again. And I've been running ever since. I've completed over 20 full marathons, about almost 20 halves. And running is my life. Well, I'm not a stress reliever because I don't take on stress anymore. But I enjoy doing it. I've always been physically fit, active, so it's an outlet for me. And Melissa and I, when we connected at the Cancer Society, mind you, I heard her name, saw her photo, but never knew, no, not the photo, heard her name for many years, never knew who she was. We connected at the Cancer Society, and it was like, gee, she and I needed each other because, we have the same mindset. And so, yes, I've been telling her, listen, this is what we need to be doing. And cancer is so rampant here in our country. So many people have it, Dwight. A lot of people don't know where to turn, and especially when they come to my office and I hear some of the stories from these women and men, I'm like, oh, my Lord, So it's a part of me. I can't avoid it because, as I said, out of my immediate family, 5 out of 8 of us have been impacted.
My goodness.
And I can't begin to tell you about other family members who are dealing with it now, okay? So I've always been trying to see how I could help, how I could support, what could I do? And I've been doing stuff from the time after I was diagnosed. Well, this year I am turning 60.
Wow.
And so I am truly grateful and thankful to God for reaching hopefully this milestone.
Yeah.
And I said, so when Melissa told me that she was, I keep saying that let's get this thing going. She said she got everything set up and whatever. I said, well, you know what? I am going to try raise the money. I'm going to run and raise the money. So my goal is to run throughout this year and raise money for that organization and the Sister Breast Cancer Group.
Excellent.
Charlene McPhee has been a woman in this community who has worked on and on to support women with breast cancer in particular by providing ports. And a lot of women in our country have benefited from it. So I want these women to now begin to give back. And even if they're passed on, their family members, give back to that, to say, you know what, we're grateful and thankful for what you've done for us. So my goal is to raise $60,000 and beyond.
Oh, boy. Oh,
and that's a small number,
Yeah?
I think so because...
How will you do it? How will this work?
I'm going to start running, and my first race is on Sunday. I'm headed to Florida to do the Miami half. And so I want people to give $6, $16, $66, $60, 6,000, 600, just out of 6. Yeah, 60,000, 6 million.
Right.
We can do it. But just put that number onto it and let's give to both organizations, one or the other. And we're going to try and set up a GoFundMe because I have a lot of contact and persons in the U.S. and abroad who would want to support. But for our locals, if you don't do that, just drop it off at my office, Palmdale Vision Center, or find Melissa, or go to the Sister Breast Cancer and just drop the donation off. I don't want any of it. I want us to raise it to support people in our country because we need the help.
Okay. All right, so we're going to look out for the GoFundMe
Yeah.
account, or, as you say, drop it off.
Yeah.
And you said this is going to help so this can be more consistent.
Yeah. So the whole idea, like I said, is that, we really wanted to make this as it relates to, not just a support group, but we want to offer, like I said, those different pillars of survivorship care that is so very needed because we're all at different places in our survivorship care. And it's absolutely, it's free. It's no charge. And even if persons can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Melissa Deidre. If you call the Cancer Society and ask for me, they'll let you know where I am.
That's the MD in patient.
Yeah, MD.
Okay. Patient navigation. There you go.
MD, patient navigation, and sister breast cancer.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
Dwight, March, I'm running Tokyo, and the list goes on and
Yeah.
on.
Yeah.
So it's got to be quite a bit of international
You're doing the
runs.
full marathons.
Yes, and local runs. And I just want people...
And marathons are what, like 26 miles?
26.2
See,
miles.
There's the
you
6
know,
again.
Yes.
Donate that $26.
Yes.
There you go.
And let's come out and support. And even if you want to run here or walk here or do whatever, but whatever you do, let's raise the money and support these two organizations.
Yeah.
And so maybe we'll come back in May and talk about where we are in the process.
that'd be great.
That's because that's Cancer Month.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you haven't set up the GoFundMe yet, or you?
Not as yet.
But it's going to be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you can find Dr. Abby on Facebook.
Or Palmdale Vision Center.
Yeah. And we'll send you all of the information. And I can send you the information, the flyer for the survivorship series this weekend.
Yes.
So we have J. Roll Donovan, who's doing the fitness part of it with some Junkanoo aerobics. Low impact. It's very easy. It's 30 minutes. Just come out. Just get moving. I'm actually doing a talk on functional nutrition for the month of February. And we also have Ria, who is doing the creative. We're doing jewelry making. So this is the second part of part 3 for the month of February. And I can send you that information and you can share it.
And Dwight, for persons who are dealing with cancer now, we just want to tell them, listen, be encouraged. It's a journey.
Yeah.
And if you can be healthy. When you're feeling good, try to exercise.
Yeah.
Do something. I'm not telling you go run like me or do aerobics or whatever, but find some medium and try to exercise because, yes, studies have shown exercise
is so important.
Does help you.
Wow.
Yeah.
And for loved ones who are seeing their family member go through cancer, what advice?
It's a journey. It's a support. I remember my son was only 14 at that point. I have a family member going through it now, and his kids are 9, 10, 11. It's hard. But to the support person, I look at my family members and I pray for them because it's hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard. I lost a brother last October. On the day I was running Berlin Marathon.
Oh, gosh.
And I thought of his wife, his children, and it's hard. But the good thing about it, we all know the Lord. And so the hope that one day we'll see each other again if the Lord takes us and when. But it's hard, but you can do it with God's help. You just need good support and you need to trust Him, trust the process, and trust your doctors. That's key.
Yeah. I think for the caregivers, I think it's so important that you find space for yourself as well. During my treatment, my husband was my primary caregiver. He was there with me. And then I met another lady while I was in Houston who was, a part of my team, my caregiving team. And one of the biggest things is that you take time for yourself. And, you try and learn and educate yourself as well as in terms of what the other person, the patient is going through, But the biggest thing is you have to be okay in order to take care of somebody else. Like, that's the biggest thing with being a caregiver. Emotionally, it's a lot, and I'm hoping that we can have some of the psychiatrists and the therapists work with us throughout this year because mental health is a big part of it for everybody.
Absolutely.
So just take care of yourself as a caregiver. The more you take care of yourself, the more you're going to be able to take care.
Caregiver for my mom 30 years ago. And I lived in Florida at that time. So I'm flying home on the weekends. My sister's doing it during the weekend. I'm coming home on the weekends. And it took its toll on me.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And I never imagined that 30 plus years later, I would walk the same journey.
Yeah. And you would have a caregiver.
I'm still here and I thank God.
Yeah. Wow. And Laverne? I know
yes,
you,
Dr. Abby and Melissa, if you could just provide us with your contacts. I do have some listeners in Grand Bahama who are with the MAP program, which is the Mammogram Access Program, and they would love to connect with you.
Okay, perfect. I am very familiar with that program. in Grand Bahama. And a big shout out to my Grand Bahamians. I love y'all because I am a Grand Bahamian.
Oh, okay.
All right.
And so for the patient navigation part of it, patient navigation basically is just helping patients move through the system and from beginning. And basically it's a partnership from the beginning of your cancer treatment to the end of life, actually. So that's how long the relationship lasts, right? And because, once you're a survivor, it just, you're at different stages, like I said, and it just goes through. And it's helping the patients as it relates to information research, going to them with their treatments, helping them fill out forms. And like I said, it's all non-clinical. A patient navigator is an essential member of the patient's healthcare team, and pretty much keeping that patient organized. So, persons have actually reached out to me to be a part of this program, and I have to do an assessment to see what your needs are. So it's not, one of those things where you just say, okay, come and let's go. I need to be able to make sure that I can offer what you need throughout your journey. And if I can, as a patient navigator, I will show you where you need to go. Wow. So that is actually how it works.
Yeah.
They can find me at Palmdale Vision Center, 325-3585, or EBBIEJUAN60@hotmail.com.
Okay.
And they can find me on Facebook, social media.
Yeah.
We need many more people like you, right?
Well, the thing about it is it's going to grow, and Dr. Abby and I talked about it. We've been doing it. I think for the biggest part of it is actually when I actually went and I did my certification, and I'm a part of the oncology nursing navigators. So literally there, big hospitals in the U.S., the big NGOs, they normally have patient navigators. And going out, doing the certification, because of course you want to give quality and value to the patients. Right. You don't want to just give them some flyby information. I mean, I'm a survivor, but there is so much more in terms of, there's legal work behind this because, of course, you're dealing with people and their lives, right? And so you don't just go and say, well, okay, you know what, I'm going to work with this person because in the event that something happens to that person and they're in your care, you're responsible. So, I just want to say that too for persons out there that, make sure that whoever it is that you're working with as it relates to your health, that they have the necessary credentials, because that is so important. Now, I'm not going to go to Dr. Abby to tell her, fix my eyes. And, I know she learned how to be an eye doctor on Google. So, or just, because she probably fixed her own eyes, that kind of way.
Right.
So, going and making sure that I have, as it relates to my documents, what is necessary, and making sure that the organization is properly set up. And it was very important. And, Dr. Abby was like, this is what you need to go, and you need to make sure you straight first.
Yeah.
Dwight, education is key, and that's what Bahamians need in our country.
Yeah.
I am big on education. If we educate people, we'll do better and we will know better.
Across the board. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you again. Oh, tell when the next meeting is again.
So it's February 4th, and it's at the Cancer Society. We start at 8 a.m., so we run from 8 until about 10. So it's like a rolling session.
Saturday?
It's a Saturday. It's the first Saturday and the third Saturday, the 4th and the 18th, I think it is. And I will send you the information so that, you can be nice and post it.
I will. I will definitely do
We
that.
would appreciate that.
Yeah.
And, we're asking persons, there's an email on there, there's my phone contact on there, and persons can just go ahead and they can just register for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep up the wonderful work that you're doing. This
Thank
is
you.
encouraging, both of you. Dr. Abby, good luck on your run
morning.
Sunday.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that
Yeah.
one because Miami is my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. I don't know how you do it. It's amazing, it's amazing stuff, but it's wonderful what you're doing, and we'll get that information out there so everyone can support Dr. Abby Scherer and Melissa Major. Thank you so much for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're going to take a break for news and be back with Morning Blend Business. We're talking BIA and insurance rates, premiums likely to go up. We'll talk about that.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, Nassau, Bahamas.
The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Wake up, it's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.
Good morning and welcome to Morning Blend Business on this Thursday, January 26th, 2023. Welcome back to our Morning Blend listeners. Once again, I'm Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And this morning we are talking insurance. Premiums are likely to go up. We are hearing from the Bahamas Insurance Association here to talk about this and why this is happening. We are very pleased to have with us from Summit Insurance, the General Manager, Timothy Ingram, and the Director of Insurance Management and Chair of the BIA, Anton Seeley. Gentlemen, great to have you with us as always.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Thanks for having us, Dwight.
All right, so this our article, we saw an article about this earlier in the week. You all released a statement, I believe it was, outlining why this is going to happen. For those who missed that, let's talk about it. Well, what's going on here, and then we'll get into how much and what the year will look like.
Yes. So I think it's no secret that we're in an era of increased hurricane frequencies, increased storms, not just here in the Bahamas, but globally. In the Bahamas, 1999 and 2019, when we had Dorian, we had 13 storms pass through our area. Wow. Some of our northern islands, when they rate the islands which are most prone to hurricanes, some of our northern islands, Grand Bahama, Abaco, are lead the list in the region as far as being impacted by storms. And so this is obviously our own local problem, but globally we've seen a lot more problems with it. So 2017, insurance companies paid out $135 billion in hurricane losses, which was billion, yeah, wow. Which was the largest on record. This year they're looking to pay out about between 120 and 130, which would be roughly the second largest on record. And so that's a big part of what's driving it. But it's not just hurricanes. So the people we do business with do business globally. So you see on TV the extreme flooding in Germany or France or Australia and Pakistan. They all do business in these areas. And so what they're finding is there are far more extreme weather events happening globally than there have been in previous years. When you look at the trend from 1980 to now, it's an upward trend with the number of events each year.
Right. And with climate change and global warming, we can expect this to continue for
correct
until we are no longer here.
Yeah.
So what does that mean? I mean, we're just going to have to accept it. That's how it is. And you mentioned countries on the other side of the globe. Should we be paying more because of that, and vice versa for them as well? Is that fair?
Well, it is, because, as you know, insurance, it's a pool. You pay your premiums into a pool, essentially. The Bahamas, unfortunately, our pool is not large enough to sustain the risk that, the value, the value in the Bahamas. So we have to be a part of this global pool. And unfortunately, as the pool is impacted, so are we. So, yes, unfortunately, we have to be a part of that as well.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, I mean...
Good morning, gentlemen. How much of a percentage do you estimate we are going to see an increase, let's say, over the next 5 years?
At the moment, it's a year-to-year thing.
Yeah.
We can tell you what you're likely to see this year. So what some people have said is, listen, if we see too many of these storms happening in the Caribbean region in the next year or two, you could find that companies just don't want to do business with the local insurance companies because of the risk involved. Just to highlight the risk, we had Hurricane Dorian in 2019, which was, for us, a huge storm. It was a $2 billion event for the local insurance companies. Right. Prior to that, Hurricane Matthew a few years earlier had been a $400 million event. So you look at it, it's a lot difference in cost. And speaking to one particular reinsurer, he said, listen, I had built up I paid the losses over the years and I'd managed to build up a little surplus. He said that over 25 years, he said that surplus got wiped out by Dorian, and it'll now take me another 20, 25 years to build that surplus back up. So that's what companies are facing, is like, very significant losses. And companies are businesses with shareholders who say to them, well, why are you doing business in this area? Speaking with one particular reinsurer, after Dorian, he had to go into a board meeting and to face his board members and tell them about their large losses. And he said, we have this particular laws from island called Abaco, the response from some of his board members cannot be repeated on air.
Oh my!
Is why the hell are we doing business in these kinds of areas? And so that's our difficulty.
Right, and it's causing some companies to go under too. Is that right? We're losing some reinsurers.
Yeah, we have lost a number of reinsurers over the years. I mean, for those of us who've been in this business as long as Tim and I have, this is nothing new per se. This happens. Similar thing occurred after Hurricane Andrew hit in 2000. When was that? 92? 1992. We had a similar phenomenon where reinsurers realized that this was a very risky area to be in. And so a lot of them left. Those who stayed said, we'll stay, but we've got to charge a lot more for the risk that we're running in this area, which is not a question of if you're going to get hit, it's when you're going to get hit. And so, and as we mentioned earlier, with the global warming, the frequency and severity of these storms have increased. So it's a question of, the appetite. Some have gone, some have never come back. And the other factor, which is a factor, not a major factor, but yes, the interest rates that are being charged in America has gone up, and so you see investors. I mean, as Tim mentioned earlier, insurance, it's a business, and people are in business for one reason, and that is to get a reasonable return for their shareholders, their investors. And so if they're not if they can get a better return somewhere else, then that capital is moved, and a small portion of this is that. So we expect that. Perhaps when the interest rates start to come back down, you may have some players coming back, and of course, more players, competition will drive rates down. But we don't expect to see a heck of a lot of major seismic shift in rates downwards anytime soon.
Oh boy! But on homeowners, I'm taking or are we likely to
and businesses? Okay. Yeah, any property insurance really that covers hurricane.
Yeah.
And that's where the problem is. So if your insurance isn't covering hurricane, then you're not likely to see the level of increases that you'd see if you are covering, if your property is covering, insurance is covering hurricanes.
So is this likely to spill over into other types of insurance as well?
You might see a little bit. It might not be as dramatic. But for instance, if you have a comprehensive motor insurance policy, that in most cases will cover hurricane as well. And so you could see some increases on your motor insurance policy as well. But as far as the liability insurance is concerned, like your third-party liability policy, you're not necessarily going to see an increase in that because that's not impacted by this to the level that the hurricane insurance stuff is impacted.
Right. Wow. So what do you do if you're a consumer? You have your policyholder. Just grin and bear it. What do you suggest?
What I would suggest is, get in touch with your agent, your broker, your agent, and have a conversation with him. He or she will be able to guide you in some ways as to how you can minimize the effect of the premium increases. There are options available. So, get in touch with your local agent and, have a conversation with him or her.
Yeah, in the short
Have
term.
you seen sorry.
Go ahead.
Wanted to know, yes. Have you seen an increase in people getting property or homeowners insurance since Dorian?
I don't think we have. Oh boy! I think it's roughly the same thing. Obviously, I always say the persons who have been impacted by it quite dramatically. So if you're in Abaco, the possibilities are with a hurricane, then you're more likely to make sure you have insurance than if you're in New Providence or one of the other islands. Even Grand Bahama, we haven't seen the movement that you would expect to see from persons seeking to protect themselves. Now,
not even the other islands as well?
In Grand Bahama.
No. Like Tim said, in Abaco, the take-up has been strong. We have a heavy presence in Abaco, and to be honest with you, we have exceeded pre-Dorian levels in the amount of coverage that we write in Abaco at the moment. But the other islands, the take-up has been, it's just normal. No increase, no uptick at all. And again, there are a lot of factors go into that. Economics plays a major part as well.
Yeah.
And the other family islands, as you know, a lot of people in the family islands, they build, as we say, out of their pockets. So they don't, they're not heavily leveraged as we are here in Nassau. So the requirement by the financier, by the mortgager for hurricane insurance anyway, is not as great. So they tend to run the risk, as you say. But, but we would like to see that change. Obviously, I'm not being self-serving, but when we have more insurance, obviously the pool is larger, and then that affects rates as well.
Yeah, Tim, you were saying?
Yeah, no, a lot of persons obviously rely on the government after a storm happens. The government themselves don't take out a whole lot of insurance against hurricanes. We would, in the industry, would like to see that change dramatically. We think that the tool is there, and the cost to do it far outweighs the cost of going and borrowing after a storm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we know that underinsurance is a big problem. Are you worried that with higher premiums, people will just, I got to cut back? And what are the dangers? We know what the answer is, but what are the dangers?
Problem, and it's a two-edged sword right now for us, and Tim can speak to this when we talk about the availability of capacity. As a result of reinsurers withdrawing and those saying that we just don't want to be in that area, they're limiting what they're offering us in terms of what we call capacity. And so when people increase their sums insured, it also cuts into the available capacity as well, in addition to obviously new business coming on the books. But I'd let Tim explain exactly what we mean when we say capacity.
Yeah, so let's say last year I was able to offer in total $2 billion in coverage to all of my policyholders. And in the treaties for this year, I would have said to our reinsurers, listen, we expect to see some growth. There's new business coming on stream. We'd like maybe just over $2 billion. And a number of them came back and said, well, no, and in fact, we're not going to give you the $2 billion you had last year. We're going to give you a bit less.
Oh, wow.
And so that then becomes the problem. So persons wanting to increase sums insured, at the end of the year last year, for instance, one or two of my competitors came to a position where they could not write any new business. Pushing them to insure new buildings could not get that insurance because there's just not sufficient capacity to do it. Most of us have a tiny amount for this year, and once that's gone, it's pretty much gone. If we exceed the limits that we've been given by our reinsurers, The same way you get penalized with average on your homeowner's insurance, we get penalized with average on our treaties as well.
Oh, my goodness.
So we have to manage it very carefully to ensure that we are pretty much right on the numbers that we're supposed to be on.
All right, so we're assuming everybody knows and understands underinsurance, but for those who might not, let's explain that to them and how big a problem underinsurance is by your estimates in this country.
Well, I mean, I think in the most recent storms, we've seen anywhere from 40 to 60% of the persons who are insured are actually underinsured. So underinsured means that your building is valued one thing and you opt to insure it for something else. So your building may be valued $100,000, but you decide, well, I'm only getting insured for $60,000. Now, when a loss happens, let's say you have a $10,000 loss, what effectively happens is your insurance company says to you, well, your building's valued 100,000, you insured for 60, so you've actually insured 60% of every loss. And so we're going to be responsible for 60 and you're going to be responsible for 40. The way I always said, broke it down to people is, if someone broke into your house and stole $1,000 worth of stuff, and let's say there's a line across the house where that line says over there 60% is insured and over there 40% is not insured. Someone breaks in, did they steal the stuff from the 60% side or the 40% side?
Of course,
The client always says the 60% side, of course, equally say it from the 40% side. So to be fair and equitable, we say, well, okay, whatever he took, 60% of it was insured and 40% wasn't. And so that's a simple way to look at it, that you're your own insurer for that 40%.
Yeah. And how, you said it, how bad do you think the problem is here?
Probably 50% of homes here are underinsured.
Bear in mind that the cost of everything has gone up. And the cost of building materials, even labor costs have gone up, and of course, people haven't made the adjustments in the sums insured to accommodate that. So in the event of a loss, of course, we pull a replacement value. What is the replacement value of this home today? And it is much more than it was 10 years ago when you constructed it and you maintain and you put that sum insured on it. So the idea is every year to review your sums insured with your local agent and then satisfy yourself that it represents the full replacement value of your home. But of course, as we know, that doesn't happen on a consistent and regular basis.
Right. Okay, we've got a lot of questions coming in on our text line. We need to take a break. When we come back, we'll get to some of those. We're talking with Tim Ingram and Anton Seeley with the Bahamas Insurance Association. This is Morning Blend Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Stay with us.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because it's CFAL, your interest, CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Fidelity, we're good for you. Whether your business is in store, on the go, or both, let Fidelity work with you to maximize your customers' payment options with a fixed or mobile terminal so that you never miss a sale. It's safer than cash and more convenient so that you can take your business anywhere. For details, contact a business development officer today at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport, or visit our website at fidelitygroup.com. Fidelity, we're good for you.
Earning zero interest on your savings at the bank? With as little as $100, you can start earning interest on your money while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank with the CFAL Savings Express Plan. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is our interest. Visit cfal.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
We're good for you. With so much going on in the world today, only accepting cash at your business can be risky. Let Fidelity offer you and your customers safety, convenience, and the flexibility of a fixed or mobile terminal. Take it with you, on the move and on the go, because business should never stop. For more details, speak to one of our business development officers at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport. Visit our website at fidelitygroup.com or visit us at any of our branches.
Welcome back to Morning Glen Business on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. We're talking with Tim Ingram and Anton Seeley with the Bahamas Insurance Association. All right, so you mentioned it earlier, Tim, about the what's happening with capacity. So if that is happening with you all and somebody is underinsured and there is a problem, I mean, who gets penalized there? Will that cause, what happens in a situation like that?
Well, what we'd say is most insurers locally will reserve their capacity as far as possible for their existing customers. So if you are uninsured and you think you want to increase your sums insured, I say go ahead and contact your insurance company right away to organize that. If you wait too long and you go to them once hurricane season starts and there's no more capacity left, then unfortunately there's not a lot you can do. You will, unfortunately bear the consequences of what has happened. That's unfortunate, but there's really nothing any of us can do about that situation.
All right, so there's always questions, especially when we had those rains last year, about flooding and flood insurance and whether that is covered in the average policy. That is?
It is covered,
So here, we're different in Florida because we get the Florida media and everything gets a bit confused. So in Florida, you go and you buy a windstorm policy. You might also have to buy a policy covering the fire and other stuff. And then you have to buy a separate flood policy. So some people in Florida are paying 4 or 5% a year for their insurance cover. In the Bahamas, the average 5 and 1.6%. As I say, Florida right now could be paying 4 or 5% for the insurance coverage. There's been last year about 10 insurance companies went out of business in Florida because they could not find the capacity to insure persons. And so a lot of persons in Florida are now actually being insured through Florida citizens. that it's the state-run program. But the insurance companies have been leaving Florida in droves. They have a lot of problems with their insurance market. There are a lot of fraud and other stuff going on that makes a lot of insurance companies not want to do business there. And in fact, we get people from there, and Tom will tell you, who call us
looking
asking
for coverage. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the lawyers in Florida make all the money from the claims, not the claimants.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Yeah.
But here, flooding.
If flood isn't, if you have hurricane cover and you get flooding during a hurricane, that is covered. In fact, a small amount of flooding will be covered even if there's no hurricane.
Right.
So sometimes we have these just a lot of rain events.
And that will be...
Even if you don't have hurricane insurance, you should check your policy because you may have flood cover in that.
You may have. That's not automatic.
Yeah, there's not. I can't speak. I don't know every single policy
Okay.
on the island, so I can only speak for some that I know will cover the flood to your home. So let's say it's March and you have a lot of rain in your area, your house is flooded. Contact your insurance company because
definitely check that out.
Yeah, one misconception, not widely held, but in the event your house is flooded during a hurricane, people feel, well, my house is damaged by flooding, but the proximate cause of the flooding was the hurricane. So if you don't have hurricane coverage, in that instance, it's not
along the coast. More than likely, you will have flood coverage, right? Is that
more
outside
than
of
likely.
hurricane?
Well, so in years outside of hurricane, even outside of hurricane, yes. So yeah.
Okay, so what if it isn't a natural disaster? What if it's a burst pipe or your neighbor's pipe and it flooded your house?
That's generally covered under your standard homeowner's policy. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
Even some policies, even if you have a cow and he runs into your building and damages the building, that's covered. So impact by animals is covered as well.
Okay. Text us 422-4796. You might take sensible calls. Yeah. 323. Stick to the topic, folks. And your specific issue, you might need to talk to your agent about. Right? Let's talk generally.
Just general questions.
General
please.
questions.
No specific questions.
Right.
For specific questions, contact your local agent. Yes.
323-6232. 325-4316, 325-4259. This person says here, tell your guests, will my pool of money can't sustain an increase either for insurance, so I guess we will all lose. Oh boy. For people who are saying that kind of stuff and thinking, I can't do this anymore, I've got to drop. Once again, what do you say to them?
I'd say to them, talk to someone in Abaco who, in the middle of the storm, their house was underwater. The entire thing blew off. And talk to the people that had insurance in Abaco and the people that didn't have insurance in Abaco, and determine the value of it. The cost I argue as well that the cost is fairly relative. So you can have a mortgage and your bank is charging you 6.5% interest, and that gets kind of covered in the mortgage payment. Your insurance premium is 1.5%, which is obviously far less than 6.5%. So over a 20-year period, you'd probably pay $70,000, $80,000. Insurance, you pay your bank $190,000 for interest. So it's relatively speaking. I understand that it's not cheap. I have to pay it as well. But as I say, the thing is, talk to people who don't have insurance and might not have been able to rebuild yet, as opposed to someone who had some kind of insurance, got a check, and was able to rebuild it.
Insurance, but with the purchase of insurance, you're buying peace of mind, really. And you're buying the peace that if something happens, I don't have to hustle to build this house again. When you look at what the value of the asset that you're protecting versus the premium that you're paying to protect that asset, it kind of puts it in perspective that it's not really as bad as we suggest it is, because you have a $300,000 house, and what are you going to be paying on that? About $4,500.
If you were in Florida, you'd pay about $10,000 to $12,000.
Yeah,
my goodness.
And so you're spending $4,500 to protect $300,000, and the attendant costs following that. It's relative, but I understand in these tough economic times, everything is going up, and the last thing you want to see is something else going up. And because it is an intangible product, people feel it's thing. But at the end of the day, I think you need to put it in perspective the value of the asset you're protecting versus what you're paying to protect
Yeah.
that asset.
And one thing I'd say is that that I think most insurance companies on this island will agree with is that we are not passing on the full impact of these increases
No, not
to
at
our
all.
clients. We realize that it's going to be difficult for persons to afford this. Our reinsurance protection makes up several different aspects, and then there's one aspect, just to give you an example for us. There's one aspect of our reinsurance cover that's $300,000. This year will cost us $1.2 million. So now we blend it all and we come up with a number and we say, well, okay, that's the number, but what do we think is reasonable that is not going to stress the clients too much? I think most companies are saying 15 to 20% increase. For perspective, after Hurricane Andrew in 1992, rates went up by 500% in 2 years. And so it's heavy, there's no doubt. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. There's no way to sugarcoat that. A 15 to 20% increase isn't heavy.
Yeah.
But there's very little, virtually nothing we can do about it.
Right. I think you talked about this already. This person's saying, is it true that most companies have stopped taking on homeowners insurance? I've been to a couple companies and they said they're not taking on the new policies. You talked about that earlier.
Yes, they at the end of last year, they might want to try again. Some companies may have been able to get a little bit capacity at their treaty renewal date of 1st of January. So if they still didn't find the cover, they can check around a bit more and they might be able to find something.
Yeah. This texter is saying, what steps are being made to create our very own reassurers in our own region, starting with Bahamian reassurers, and then the Caribbean region and Latin American region? What steps are being made to create? Yes, same thing. It's saying twice. Okay.
So, as far as we're aware, there are no concrete-ish plans at the moment. The problem we have is a numbers game. The level of capital that's required to start a reinsurance company to sustain this region would be enormous. But the return on that capital is going to be very minuscule. So saying to someone, listen, we'd like you to come and put $200 to insure people. We've said that the rate is 1.5%. And so you're saying to someone, well, put $200 billion up, your rate is going to be 1.5%. You have to pay your expenses and everything out of that 1.5%. So at the end of the day, you may end up with 90 cents. And so, as an investor, and someone is saying to you, put your money down for less than 1% return, how many investors are going to be particularly interested in doing that? Especially when they can lose a huge chunk of that investment at any one point in time. Yeah. So that is the difficulty. I mean, if you're an insurance company in this region and you have $50 million in capital, which for this region is quite a bit of capital, but you insure $3 billion in properties or $3.5 billion in properties, the numbers don't match. There's no way you can go without reinsurance protection.
Right.
And as I say, to find the level of capital that we need in this region to have one company to service this region, and to be able to give that company the level of return that it needs on its capital is what makes this very difficult. And so we rely on companies that do business all over the world, and they say, well, okay, I might get hit in the Bahamas this year, but hopefully I'm not getting hit in Australia or Japan or somewhere else. Recently, they've been getting hit everywhere, and that's been the problem.
My goodness. I know we don't have you for too much longer, but let's get through a couple more of these messages. I think you all hear this one, messages like this all the time. But they're saying insurance companies are a ripoff. If I insure my house for $60,000 and pay me my $60,000, why do you all have to get a percentage? Look at all those years that I wasn't claiming anything.
Well, what I'd say to companies, to persons, these are a pool, right? So you and 10 of your neighbors on your street get aside, we're going to all put our money together and pool it. And whoever has a loss this year gets the money. Now, you may not get the loss this year, but your neighbor down the street probably had the loss and will get the money. And so, no, you're not getting it. But when your house burns down for $60,000, over the years, you might have paid me $4,000 or $5,000 in premiums, but you expect your $60,000 when the house burns down, right? So, if you lived in Abaco and Dorian swept through, over the years, you might have paid your insurance company $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in premiums. Your house was worth $200,000. Your insurance company, if there was average involved, they might have given you a check for $160,000. But the premiums you paid to your insurance company to get that $160,000 were nowhere near the $160,000.
Wow.
And as I say, it's a pool. Everybody puts their money in. Whoever has the losses get to take their money out.
Yeah. Look, you were about to say something.
No, I just didn't quite understand the question. Why wouldn't he get his $60,000 was the question?
Well, I think he was saying he pays his money, but when the claim comes, we don't pay his claim effectively. So I'm not sure. That's how I read it.
All legitimate claims are paid. I mean, you'll never not get paid.
And if you're not paid, there are legal options for you.
Exactly. But you will always get, if it's a total loss, you'll get your $60,000 if you're underinsured. But
the other thing I'd say is that as insurance companies, we are required to publish our financial statements. So if you go to any of our websites, our financial statements are there on those websites. And what I'd say is look at what the gross amount we take in at the top and what the net amount is we take in at the bottom. This is fairly tiny amount. And you go to some of the other sectors of the financial service industry. For instance, you compare what banks take in to what the profitability is. Yes, and it's dramatically different, very dramatically different. The entire local property and casualty insurance industry in most years will probably take in total, their profits in total, is far less than one of our major banks.
Major banks, absolutely. The total industry.
Yeah.
I think the texter may have been, excuse me, I don't want to speak for them, may have been referring to the deductible aspect, because I find that some people, I don't want to say a lot, don't quite understand, that aspect that there is a deductible.
Right.
Yeah, and so maybe that's where the disconnect is in some instances.
Yeah. Well, the deductible is there really to try and keep premiums down for the most part. That is the general principle behind a deductible. The higher the deductible, the lower the premium. So generally, some policies have a standard deductible. Others are flexible and allow you to decide what deductible you want. If you want a high deductible, you trade that off for a cheaper premium. But in the end, it's a part of the coverage. And not all losses attract the deductible.
Hurricane losses.
Hurricane losses generally attracts a deductible. But if it was a fire, for instance, or theft, there's no deductible applicable to a fire loss. So in that case, you'll get your full $60,000 if it's a fire loss.
Yeah, and reinsurers, we all do these projections as to what losses will be. If we have a Category 5 storm, we have a loss. What is that loss going to be? If they apply a 2% deductible, that loss is obviously lower than if they don't apply the 2% deductible. So what that effectively means is if you don't have the deductible, you're going to pay a lot more in premium than having the deductible.
Right. All right. So our final minute again to someone listening and saying, I this is going to be rough. I've got the electricity rates are supposed to be going up, the inflation, everything, eggs. My gosh, $9 in stores. How can I pay anything more for insurance? Something's got to give.
Yeah, I mean, there's no easy answer.
Which one is this?
There's no easy answer. I mean, as we said, speak with your insurance agent and let them guide you through some of the options which may be available for you. It might be taking a slightly higher deductible, and what that means is, yes, when you have a claim for hurricane, you get a little less, but if it's a major claim, you're going to get a significant amount of money, which most people, I think, find that it's enough to allow them to get their homes rebuilt. The government will give a concession on duties and these kind of things. And so all of that helps to mitigate the loss. But there are no answers in the short term, unfortunately. In the long term, we have to enforce our building code. In Florida, they found that enforcement of the building code led to reduction in losses by about 60%. And then they enhanced their building code as well. So their building code is actually a bit stronger than ours these days. I know we're working on it, but it takes a while for these things to get done. But in the meantime, person's building, look at what you're building with, where you're building. We used to build houses, the old houses you look at, they're 3 feet off the ground. You look at houses now and they're like 2 inches off the ground. You need to build your house back up to 3 feet off the ground. You need to make sure it's got hurricane straps. Maybe make it slightly smaller and put a standing seam metal roof on the house rather than a asphalt shingle. You're going to pay less in insurance, number one. And number two, those have been demonstrated to withstand storm losses much better than, say, an asphalt shingle roof. Metal roofs were almost untouched when it came to damage. Asphalt and the rest of them blew off really easily. Yeah. But if you have a standing seam metal roof, you tend to pay less in insurance than an asphalt shingle.
Okay, that's good to know. Anton.
Just now, so there's other options as well. Stay away from the coast as much as you can. I know we like to see the water, and we want to have that view of the water, but you can elevate your house and still have that view from a further distance back. And some of the common sense stuff that Tim mentioned, but we have to understand that we are in a hurricane zone. It's not a question of if, it's when. So we have to build more resilient structures, and we have to be prudent in how we approach protection of those assets. And I know it's a heavy lift, but everything is going up. And as I remind people all the time, insurance, it's a business, and we're here to try and make a reasonable return. We don't, we're not. It's not a rip-off, as some people say. I would, lack of a better term, maybe it's a necessary evil, but it's not a rip-off. I think everything in society is underpinned by insurance. You can't do anything without insurance, and sometimes I wonder whether the authorities recognize that, the way our industry is marginalized and treated sometimes. But nothing can happen in this country without insurance. I mean, you can't get in your car after work without insurance. You can't build a home unless you're a man of substantial means. Without financing, if you finance it, you must have insurance. Everything, even the money in the bank, is insured to some degree. So nothing happens. No commerce can take place without insurance. It's very important. So I would encourage those who are contemplating whether or not to insure or not to insure. Just as I mentioned earlier, just think about what it is that you're protecting for that premium that you're paying. What it is that you're protecting. You're protecting your home in most instances, which covers your family and all. So it is something that is not to be just say, well, I'll skip it this time. Right. It needs honest and serious contemplation before you make that decision not to insure.
Yeah, definitely. Anton Seeley, Director of Insurance Management and Chair of the Bahamas Insurance Association, and Timothy Ingram, General Manager of Summit Insurance. Thank you both for being here this morning. Good information.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
All right, thank you.
We're going to take a break and be back with more Morning Blend Business here on Guardian Radio 96.9.
Ready to save? You can put $100 into the CFAL Savings Express Plan and make sure your money keeps growing. Earn interest on your savings while you're sleeping, eating, or standing in line at the bank. Ready to invest? Start by putting $1,000 into our mutual funds and earn interest there too. Because at CFAL, your interest is ours. CFAL.com to start now. CFAL, growing wealth for future generations of Bahamians.
At Wendy's, we are different. We don't just use beef. It's fresh, never frozen. Our burgers are square because we never cut corners. Served hot off the grill with fresh lettuce, tomatoes, onions, and American cheese. We believe in fast food done right. Always serving fresh, never frozen beef. Order a hot, juicy Dave single, double, or triple. Made with fresh, never frozen beef. Now only at Wendy's. Different inside and out.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
Whether your business is in store, on the go, or both, let Fidelity work with you to maximize your customers' payment options with a fixed or mobile terminal so that you never miss a sale. It's safer than cash and more convenient so that you can take your business anywhere. For details, contact a business development officer today at 356-7764 in Nassau or 352-6676 in Freeport, or visit our website at fidalitygroup.com.
It is time for your morning business report, brought to you by CFAL, with the Ministry of Finance behind on the publishing of several reports on the government's fiscal position. Opposition leader Michael Pintard is accusing the Davis administration of displaying contempt for the rule of law and the Bahamian people. Pintard noting that the Fiscal Strategy Report 2022 has yet to be published, though by law it should have been made public in November. He added that the Ministry of Finance has not published the most recent monthly or quarterly fiscal reports on government's fiscal performance either. The last monthly fiscal report covered the month of October, while the last quarterly budgetary performance report was published in September, covering the 3-month period between July and September. Crowdfunding platform ArawakX is helping to raise money for the 50th CRIFTA Games being held in the country in April, right here in the Bahamas. The local organizing committee explaining during a press conference yesterday with Chief Technology Officer at ArawakX, D.R.C. Ramming Jr., saying that while their platform was set up to be a for-profit stock exchange, the technology allows the platform to also use crowdfunding for fundraising. According to Ramming, the functionality of the ArawakX platform is the same whether crowdfunding for a company or for a good cause. However, in terms of regulatory oversight, he said, there's much less red tape. Read more on that in today's Guardian Business section. And Tropical Gyros hopes to begin dividend payouts by the end of the year. That's according to the company's principal, Chef Kevin Culmer. He says that he also hopes to franchise the company to a prospective Bahamian entrepreneur in the next few months. Culmer, who raised money on crowdfunding platform ArawakX to fund the company's expansion to a new location at R&D Plaza West and build out a production center, he says the new location has begun to see sales figures that are as good as his first location on Rosetta Street. He says in another 6 months they'll be sitting down to look at another unit as well. And the next opportunity will be a franchise opportunity. Will give a Bahamian entrepreneur an opportunity to become an entrepreneur at a minimal investment. In your Market Watch, recapping trading on the business Wednesday, your market movers, Bank of the Bahamas moving 130 shares, closing at 284 unchanged. Bahamas Waste moving 250 unchanged at 1194. Consolidated Water closing at 284 unchanged, and Emir Incorporated at 995 unchanged. That's the BISX All-Share Index closing at 2,652.64 unchanged. That's your Market Watch, and that is your morning business report brought to you by CFAL, growing wealth for future generations. with our final couple of minutes of Morning Blend Business on this Thursday morning. Dwight Strachan along with Laverne Gardner. And a couple of these messages, Laverne, that we got, really need to talk to your specific insurance agent about it, right? So it depends. A lot of things depend on your specific policy. So keep that in mind for some of the questions we got this morning.
Read, don't just sign. We do that a lot. We just sign, read, and if you're not clear, ask questions. Even if you got to take it home and say, can I take this home and read this so that I can understand exactly what I'm signing for, exactly what I'm doing here, We have to do it so that you understand your coverage.
Right. Well, somebody texted about the fine print, that tiny, 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 tiny fine print, and how there's so much interesting stuff in there. But you're going to need some magnifying glasses and and lots of time to read that fine print. But yes, ask questions, ask everything. Go there with a list of questions and say, does this cover this? What about that?
You've
what
heard
about
enough
this?
stories from friends and family, so write all those things down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And again, different companies allow for different things. And so you might be able to do something with this company that you might not be able to do with that company.
Right.
So you got to look around, shop around, and talk to people too to find out what they're saying. And then ask questions about that once you find out what they're claiming, because some people say things that aren't really exactly.
Right,
Yeah. So, anyway, that is it for us today. Laverne, thank you so much, as always.
Always a pleasure.
I'll talk with you again next week. And I'll be back tomorrow morning with more Morning Blend and Morning Blend Business right here on Guardian Radio 96.9. Dwight Strachan, have a great day, everybody. Stay tuned for On the Clock with Aaron Green coming up next.
It's a new day. Wake up, it's a new day.